Welcome to the Memorial Ground as Farnham Town meets Sutton United in the fourth and final qualifying round of this season's FA Cup. It's a meeting of two sides who are less than 40 miles apart geographically, but who've been worlds apart in recent history. Two divisions currently separate the Southern League Premier League South team from the one in the National League. There were, though, as many as 6 tiers between them just 4 years ago. Well, Farnham have already had to negotiate 3 rounds of qualifying just to be here, and having beaten Erith Town and Burgess Hill Town, faced Dorchester Town in what was their first ever third qualifying round tie in their history.
Jackson to Obi, who's playing quite wide so far in this second period. Jackson, no flag. And Evans! There it is! Farnham Town do find a way, and it's Great Evans at the clock end again. Awkward one for Spetch. Very awkward. And Obi is brought down. Penalty given. Obi alive to it, but Dorchester, the architects of their own downfall there. Daryl Sanders makes no mistake from the spot again. It is 2-0 Farnham, and they are heading to the fourth round unless Dorchester can respond in the next 20 minutes. Evans. Still we go on. It's Owen Dean. Obi in support, and Obi finally gets his goal. He's wanted it all afternoon, and look at that smile on his face. He's going to go all the way over to the Dorchester fans to let them know. Well, that's the end. What a finish to this game, and job done for Farnham. They are through to the fourth qualifying round of the FA Cup. Final score, Farnham Town 3, Dorchester Town 0.
It's already been a remarkable pioneering journey for Farnham, which has been engineered with the backing of entrepreneurial new owner Harry Hugo, under the guidance of their determined and canny boss Paul Johnson, whose 3-year tenure has been one of continuing stunning success.
Paul, 2 quick promotions, 4th in the table chasing another one. How significant does that make an FA Cup match today in Farnham's evolving story of progress?
Yeah, you know, it's up there. It's a great occasion for the town and for the club itself, and yeah, it's just another one to put on the list of what we've achieved so far.
You're unbeaten. Clearly Sutton have had a poor start to the season. How confident or hopeful can you be that you're going to cause an upset today?
Yeah, we're confident. You know, we're used to winning, so yeah, you know, we're right up for it, and I'm sure the boys are going to give a good account of themselves. And we've picked a side that we energy at the start of the game, and with options to change it. So yeah, we're confident. They
have a new manager. How difficult has that made your research for this one?
A little bit more difficult than usual. Yeah, we got a little bit on them. You know, we know what to expect and what they're going to do. We think so. Yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
But generally, you're feeling confident.
Yeah, we've got to enjoy the day, enjoy the moment, and yeah, see where it takes us.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Well, visitors Sutton United are some 30 places above in the National League and are very much cast in the role of the giant with everything to lose. It's a genuine case of the FA Cup shoe being firmly placed on the other foot for a club with a history of creating incredible FA Cup shocks. Back in 1989, as a conference team, they ensured their place in FA Cup folklore with a victory which even today has rarely been matched. Top division Coventry City came to Gander Green Lane for a third-round tie only 2 years after lifting the cup at Wembley. When Tony Rain's header hit the back of the net just before half-time, it was little short of bedlam. Matthew Hanlon's tap-in and subsequent sprint of joy then completed one of the greatest giant-killing acts in the competition's history. Manager Barry Williams had presided over the kind of result which has made the FA Cup so adored and revered all over the world. Well, 28 years later, Sutton were at it again, this time condemning Championship club Leeds United to humiliation while adding to their own reputation as the FA Cup's giant swallowing club. Jamie Collins' second-half penalty sent the National League side through to the 5th round on a day still remembered vividly. Paul Doswell's side were 16th in the England's 5th tier, securing a famous win in front of a sellout crowd on their artificial pitch at Ganders Green Lane. Today, though, it is they who are seeking to avoid FA Cup ignominy. And their head coach, Chris Agata, still acclimatising to his new role. It's only his second match in charge. He is, though, fully aware that it is his side who come here desperately trying to fend off cup humiliation.
Sutton have such a history in the FA Cup as giant killers. What's the pressure for you not to be the victims of an upset this time?
To be honest, I think it's just a case of focusing on the process without sounding too boring. It's another game of football. There's an opposition in front of us that are a good side. They've got it for a reason, and for us it's about not considering the occasion really, just playing the game in front of us.
Record crowd here today. You know how much they're going to be up for it. What can you say to your players about that?
For me, I think they just need to show the level, really. I mean, we're obviously 2 steps above. We can't get away from the fact that there's obviously going to be pressure on us. But like I said, we've got a group of players who are at the football club for a reason. We need to do what we can do. We need to play to the best of our ability. And that should mean that gives us a great chance to progress to the next round.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And alongside me today on commentary duty on what promises to be a terrific tie is the former Sheffield United and Salford City striker, Danny Webber. Danny, what are your recollections and memories of this great competition? Day which has been described as the biggest day in Farnham Town's 119-year history. Record gate receipts, a record crowd, and of course live television coverage. What else could you expect for such an historic day? Well, on an historic day such as this, Farnham boss Paul Johnson had some big calls to make, mainly on who he was going to have to disappoint. The 4-2-2-2 formation has been the one which has brought him so much success. His back four has been settled all campaign, but among those who he's had to leave out is Harry Cooksley, whose recent second-place finish in the TV series Love Island has made him a household name. Farnham haven't lost a single match in any competition this season. Well, in only his second game in charge, Chris Agata has switched his formation as he tries to work out what is the best formula. With first-choice keeper Jack Sims injured, David Azaya deputises. The likes of Harry Phipps and Jack Wadham's return is timely by contrast. Unlike their hosts, Sutton are full-time and have lost 8 of their 14 league games this campaign, prompting a change of the man in charge. The confidence that Paul Johnson had in his interviews pre-match was certainly based on the contrasting performances between the two clubs today. Our referee today, by the way, Ross Martin. And of course, there is no VAR, so what happens on the pitch stays on the pitch. It would be a massive scalp for Farnham Town to knock out Sutton United today, but when you look at their contrasting form, albeit in divisions 2 tiers apart, you do get the sense that Farnham believe that it wouldn't be the kind of shock that everyone else would consider it. You mentioned, Danny, that you've been on both sides of the coin as the team that could be killed and the giants and so on. What were your thoughts when you were trying to knock out a team who were above you in the pyramid?
I think it's interesting because you look at the body language of the team that are turning up. In this case, you know, it would be Sutton, and you're aware of everything, that you are the underdog and you've got nothing to lose. So you go out there with a freedom, there's a togetherness, which clearly Farnham have, that can pull you through and make the difference between the leagues. So yeah, it's a great feeling when you win, when you're together, and if they win today, I'm sure Farnham as a town will be lively.
The truth is that even though form suggests that Farnham are the informed team, no defeats, 8 defeats in the league already for Sutton, that 2-tier difference, how big is it?
It's big, but it solely depends on attitude. It does. I mean, we were at Salford and we beat Notts County, who were, you know, three leagues above us at the time. So it depends on the attitude on the day. I think fitness plays a part. One team will be full-time, the other one won't. So it's up to Farnham to stay tight. I think I like the fact that he's playing the 4-2-2-2. He wants to be solid through the centre. But yeah, it's down to attitude, down to fitness. Can you concentrate and not make so many mistakes?
Here's the visitors, all in yellow. Get this fascinating cut tie off and running. Remember, this is the furthest already that Farnham Town have ever been in the history of their 119 years of playing. So already this is a very special day, regardless of what happens this afternoon. It's also worth bearing in mind that should this game end in a draw, there is a replay which will take place on Tuesday at Sutton. So I'm speaking to the 2 members of the hierarchy at Farnham Town before the game, and there is a suggestion that there are 2 results which will do them very nicely indeed.
You often find early on in these games, it becomes very frantic, you know, and sort of 10, 15 minutes into the game it settles down, and then it's about who's got the courage to get on the ball and make things happen. And, you know, early on you can see Sutton are trying to spread, make the pitch as big as possible.
And let's not underestimate the fact that Sutton will train every day, and Paul Johnson has insisted on this programme where they train only once a week on a Wednesday night. You know, it's a 3-line wet, you miss it at your peril. That's a massive difference in terms of levels of fitness, surely.
It is, it's a huge difference, and again, you'll see it late on in the game. At this point in the match, adrenaline's there and everybody's fresh and you've prepared for it in the right way, but you can't, you know, account for the fact that somebody's training day in, day out, and they're working at their craft, their fitness, and the 2 levels difference. So there's a lot for Farnham to overcome.
Here they are looking to overcome very early, and what an opportunity it might be, and indeed it could well be, and it's the opening goal. Fantastic from Daryl Sanders. Well, all the build-up, all the hype, all the talk of history being made, and within what, 80 seconds, Daryl Sanders has put Farnham in front already. It was a wonderful move down the right side, the pass was sensible, and David Isaiah, the backup goalkeeper, could do nothing, as Daryl Sanders has given Farnham the lead.
Well, it's brilliant, it really is. It's simple, it's brilliant. He doesn't panic, Daryl Sanders, when he gets the ball at his feet. The keeper comes rushing out, gets a bit of fortune, but it's really good work from Owen Dean down the right-hand side. He gets his head up, and as I say, Daryl Sanders doesn't panic, beats the defender with a little bit of quick feet, gets a bit of fortune, and then just slots it nicely past David Isaiah. And the home crowd, the home team, doing what they do best, putting themselves ahead.
Teams who are used to winning have a habit that is difficult to shift, and that is exactly what Farnham have already demonstrated in the opening few minutes. And I suppose equally so, teams who have been used to losing have similar feelings of negativity. And the flag has stayed down again, and there's another opportunity, and this time the man who set up before, Owen Dean, almost got in on the act himself, and no wonder David Isaiah's got his arms spread saying, what's going on in front of me? He
doesn't know what's happening. Isaiah is faced, in the opening 3 minutes, he's faced 2 shots at his goal, one's gone in, but what they're doing really well is getting in behind, and it's Owen Dean on that occasion. He gets in behind, doesn't mess about, gets his shot away, and Isaiah on that occasion's equal to it.
What a breathtaking start this is. If you caught the pre-match interviews we did with Paul Johnson, he was certainly saying that we felt confident, we felt that we could cause an upset today. My goodness, his team have come out with those words ringing in his ear, because I don't think they could have dreamt of a better start. Sutton, of course, we know will have the quality to get back into the game, but can they be blown away early? Well, that's a mistake which offers the opportunity perhaps for a swift equaliser. Harris tried to set something up, and then it was a miss-hit, which actually is fortuitously gone for a corner. Aaron Jones never really hit that with any venom, but he does gain a corner.
Yeah, not as clinical going forward there, Sutton. They get the opportunity, the chances there, and it's Jaden Harris, who you just think, pull the trigger, he doesn't, pulls it back, and Aaron Jones doesn't quite catch his shot in the right way. Let's see what they can do.
Set pieces is something that all teams work on, and Sutton have a full-time training programme to be able to do it. Are they going to get a second corner in quick succession? They are.
I think if you're Sutton now, you're looking at, can we get back into this quickly? You know, you don't need Farnham to gather any momentum against you, so a goal here for them would be a big thing.
It would indeed. They haven't scored many goals this season, Sutton, but of course that's at a much higher level, and they might score here, and they have. The ball into the box, the header into the net. It was simplicity itself, and just as Danny was discussing whether or not Sutton could get themselves back in swiftly, they have indeed. And Phipps, who's only just been past fit to play in this game today, has levelled the count already.
Yeah, and it's a fairly straightforward ball into the box. It's a good delivery. Phipps, unmarked, just sees himself in the 6-yard box and does the simple thing very well, heads it down into the goal, and stressed just before the corner the importance of getting back into it as Sutton United from a mental perspective, and they've done just that.
What a start to the cup tie. From a neutral standpoint, what more could you ask for? 2 goals and very nearly a second goal for Farnham before the Sutton equaliser went in as well, and it would have been but for an excellent save by Isaiah in the goal. I would have thought of all the ways to concede, that's going to drive Paul Johnson potty, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you look at the setup as well that they had in the box, I mean, you've got Phipps, who's clearly, he's good in the air, he's got a big presence. You've got to make sure that they don't have a free run at a header like that, and when the ball comes in and it is a good delivery, you know, they've got no chance because they're not blocking him or protecting their goalkeeper.
Simply play the ball forward. It's guided intelligently into the space for Phipps, but on this occasion there's no end product. There's quite a few players out there who've probably not touched the ball yet. It's already 1-1 here. Just can't underestimate what a big day this is for Paul Johnson's club. Maybe 4 years ago, the thought of them being in the division they're in would have been fanciful, never mind a win away from the FA Cup first round proper. Sutton, of course, joining the competition at this stage. Farnham having already negotiated 3 ties just to be here, and the 3rd qualifying round had been the furthest that Farnham had ever got. So this is already uncharted waters.
You can see the tiers difference just in terms of the way they're stroking the ball around Sutton. You know, when you're playing in the National League, there's a lot of competitive teams, so you have to have a structure. You can see they're trying to work it down the lines, coming back out where they need to. You just need to have that cutting edge in the final third.
To say something similar, you can just see Sutton just starting to play the higher division football, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Moving the ball around and just trying to pull Farnham out of shape.
I think that's it. And the other thing is, with only being able to train on a Wednesday, in which Farnham do, it's difficult to get your shape. And I know they're winning games at their level, but to get your shape and be used to playing against this level of team.
Isaiah's save, absolutely pivotal. Could easily have been 2-0. Owen Dean, who set up the first goal, denied at the near post from a second. And Sutton just pushing the ball down the channel, winning a corner with a deflection. Couple of corners in a row, scored from the second of them. And we're level again.
Be interesting because they're looking, Sutton, the centre halves, they're playing it along the back and they're trying to draw this Farnham team out. And at some point, one of the Farnham players, you get frustrated as a forward and you'll end up running after the ball and leave a hole. And then all of a sudden you're out, like, you know, you break the lines like that.
Sutton are starting to express themselves here. Ball into the channel again. It's a smart goalkeeping from Waller in the Farnham goal.
Got be a little bit cuter when they're getting in those full-back areas. Sutton, they're just trying that one over the top a little too often. we'll need to see whether it's the winger just running in behind or whether he can come to feet, just mix it up a little bit, because quickly becoming wise to it, the Farnham defenders.
Imagine the possession statistic is very much in Sutton's favour now. Only in the 10th minute, and after that initial scare from Farnham with the goal and then the save from Isaiah, Sutton are starting to dictate this game.
This man Phipps, obviously he scored the goal, but likes coming deep, getting on the ball. I think the defenders can do what he's doing there. He needs to get out of the way, but he likes the ball at his feet. You can see that.
He's certainly been a dominant player already in the opening 10 minutes here as his opposite number, Kinan, gets the ball away, the Farnham captain. We always talk on days like this about butchers, bakers and candlestick makers. Well, there's a whole raft of different careers that the Farnham players are involved in, as well as part-time footballers. For example, Kinan, the Farnham skipper, works for Cadbury's. Dean has just signed a new contract to stay at the club until 2027, ready to take the throw. Works in waste management.
I think the beauty of football at this level is that everybody's there because they want to be there. Everybody's, you know, the Tuesdays, the Wednesdays, the Thursday nights where you're coming after work and training. It's, you know, it's because you want to be there and you love the game. So I found that when I went to play for Salford, and the first training session I turned up after playing in the league, and I turned up with a protein shake and I was ready, and most of the lads had just finished the day at work. One or two had been out with clients and had had a few drinks, and it was a very different atmosphere, but the camaraderie was brilliant.
Speaking to Paul Johnson before the game, and he told me that his decision just to train on a Wednesday was born out of the fact that so many of his players were struggling to get to training on Tuesdays and Thursdays because of their work commitments. So he said, right guys, organise your timetable differently and make sure without fail that you're here on a Wednesday only, and on Tuesday and Thursday they have their own private programmes that they are basically adhering to. And with the technology that exists, they can keep on top of levels of fitness and how much, you know, they're getting into their body. There's nutrition and so on that they keep on top of. So he's monitoring electronically what goes on away from Wednesday, but Wednesday's the big training day.
It sounds like Paul Johnson's found a nice rhythm, because they're winning football matches. Everybody seems like they're reading off the same page.
Sutton have started to read off the same page and are starting to exert themselves here. And their famous all-yellow kit, made famous because of those famous wins against Leeds United and Coventry City. But it is they that are the giants that are hoping to avoid being killed today, seeking a place in the FA Cup first round that they would expect to be a part of after being in the Football League for 3 seasons. He didn't think it was, much to a home supporter's delight.
He's waved it on, but it looked too far from here.
It was noticeable that Sanders tried to get that ball quickly forward to try and catch Sutton out. But, probably too quick.
I think on the transition it becomes difficult for Farnham because they want to turn it in behind, they want to run, but because they're sitting so deep, they can't get their bodies forward at this moment in time. So they're going to have to find a solution to that.
Mason's under some pressure, but he found an out ball. Helped on further by Mackenzie, and again that quick ball on the transition, trying to catch Sutton out. Didn't quite come off, but it was a well-intended pass by Liddell.
You could see Bobby Joe Taylor on the far side, wide open, saying, why didn't you find me? I'm wide open, but that is definitely the way they're trying to play. They're trying to hit on the break really quickly. It's how they got their goal as well.
Here's the influential Phipps once again dictating centrally. Tizard helping it on. Now Simper. Nice ebb and flow about Sutton at the moment.
Yeah, they're in the rhythm. Everybody looking for the ball.
Certainly shaken off the shock of going a goal behind so early. Here's Taylor.
Do you feel when a team sat in like Farnham are, and you're moving the ball around, somebody's got to do something magic? There's got to be good rotation when you get in the final third, otherwise you have possession for the sake of having possession, and it's very difficult to penetrate.
Sutton are on top here, and Farnham are playing counter-attack football, but it's worked for them to a degree, that's for sure. Across comes Kinnan to get the ball out of harm's way. But, the ball doesn't go any further than Jack Wadham. Sutton are back in possession again.
You do see a regular pattern here, Alistair, where they're back with the centre halves, having had good possession high up the pitch, because in the final third here, they've not quite found the rhythm.
It's a giveaway though, and allows Sanders to advance, and you can see the speed with which they're trying to counter. That's a good ball out towards Owen Dean. There are targets in the area. One of them is Liddell, who's making a run towards the near post. Didn't quite reach him. Be a Farnham throw.
Yeah, you can clearly see that Farnham just want to get the ball forward as quickly as they can. They've got willing runners. He's in an offside position there. Couldn't touch the ball.
Down that right side, you're talking about Owen Dean, a trainee electrician, and Jack Dean, who works in waste management. Against full-time professionals all over the park, so even though Farnham have done so well, and breaking records and pioneering, they are still the underdogs here.
You know, it's Farnham and not coming out the traps. They're staying in their shape as best they can, because they know Sutton have got the ability and the players on the pitch to be able to pick them off if they do.
Here's Jones. It was a deflected shot led to the first corner for Sutton. They then won a second one immediately, and it was from that they equalised.
And you just see there, they have the ambition to go and close down, but as soon as they do that, there's a gap that appears.
Again, they were looking to be quick in possession of the ball. Liddell trying to work a pass to Sanders, but just picked off by Sutton. Sutton are being more measured and controlled in what they're doing. Farnham are trying to be snappy and quick with their passing to try and catch Sutton out.
I think the longer it goes on like this, you look at it and you think, and it might sound the opposite of what you think, but Farnham could be the ones that get in, because Sutton aren't finding the penetration in the final third, and every time Farnham actually turn the ball over, there's runners, so you've got a chance to get yourself in. Even though Sutton have all the ball, you need to hurt the opposition when you do that.
Interesting observation. I was wondering whether, because you're out of possession for so long, fitness starts to come into it when we get to 70 minutes and so on, but of course there's a lot of football between then and now.
I make you right. I think if we were in the 70th minute, it would be a different case entirely. But you know, early on, where they are willing to run, and you know they've got a goal from it, so they know it can work. It's the only joy they've had so far. Then you know, I think they're shuffling across in tight spaces. They still have the legs to run.
A dramatic start to the cup tie. A goal with pretty much the first attack for Farnham. Finished off tidily by Daryl Sanders, and they almost made it two and would have done, but for an excellent save by Isaiah in the Sutton goal. Really good effort from Owen Dean, who set up the opening goal. And then the first time Sutton really tested Farnham, they won a couple of corners, and Phipps from a header, making it 1-1. Since then, Sutton have dictated this game. And just been forcing Farnham backwards. That said, the dynamism with which Farnham are counter-attacking, the speed with which they're trying to create opportunities on the transition has looked like a potential weapon for them.
If you look, they've tried that ball 6-7 times already.
Yeah.
Down into the final third.
They've won it back off Kinan in a good position. Oh, and the deflection could have gone anywhere. But I think you're right, that ball over the top hasn't really paid off that much. And here is Sanders to win the ball back, brings in Liddell, and now there's 4 in this counter-attack. Look at the left fullback bombing on Brandon Mason. Nutmeg, which almost came off for him, but in the end it is clear. They've signed quite a few players from higher tiers in the football pyramid, and Mason is one of them. They do like him to bomb on from the left-back position, but of course he's not there now, as half a chance, we'll call it, came the way of Jaden Harris, but was gathered in by Waller.
And that's the first time Sutton have actually been able to put a string of passes together without Farnham in the deep block. Farnham obviously having gone forward, committed bodies, and then on the break, Sutton were able to move the ball through the thirds and get a shot away.
It's gone up for a throw. It is the natural game of Farnham to drive forward, and their fullbacks do like to do so, but of course once Mason had gone all the way to the opposite end of the pitch, it meant others had to do the recovery runs to make up for the position that he'd vacated. Just for a moment there, it looked as though Harris might be able to exploit it.
If you just look at the way Farnham are set up now, they've got all 11 players in their half. Nobody's closing the ball down. They're basically saying, listen, keep it tight, don't have gaps. They're speaking very well, they're communicating well. And whilst they're not in possession, and on the eye it doesn't always look so nice, it's effective.
There's that ball over the top into the channel, and this time it has worked out, but Mason combining with Mackenzie to get it away.
And that's your frustration as a Sutton player. You end up playing a long ball that just because you've not gone in the final third for a while. So whilst it's nice to have the ball at your feet, you think at some point we have to do something with it, and then you put a pass in behind that not necessarily in your favour, and the ball's turned over again.
They're still dominating. Sutton again, they've done what you were just describing, and again it's easy to defend.
I think from a forward's point of view, it's really frustrating. You want somebody to put a measured ball into you so you can build off you, but it keeps going into the channel where you're looking at the big Ryan Kinane who just shuffles across and deals with it every time.
Dean with the throw. Mackenzie wins it back. Dean wins it back for Farnham. Sanders, the goal scorer, helped on by Mackenzie. Looking again towards the run of Liddell. Sutton take command. Nice play by Naderson. And he was looking for the return, but it was a good recovery run, and the back pass from Leggett. He lets it go. Probably the less said about that, the better.
You see the frustration even there as the shot goes in from Ogbonna. He's trying to do something different, but he's having to shoot from 25, 30 yards away. And to score there with an inside of your foot curl has got to be absolutely something special, and you're probably going to do it 1 in every 20.
We'll be on the midpoint of the first half. It has been exactly what we would hope for from an FA Cup tie. Couple of goals, couple of chances. And the lower division team, 2 tiers below Sutton, already looked a very accomplished team, and here they come on the counter. Here is Dean. On to Sanders. Looks as though he's been crowded out, and he has. Looked for options, there weren't many, and Simper emerged with it.
Did Sanders.
Here's Naderson. Sensible square back, there's a gap in the middle, Simper to put it in, but Kinan was back in the right place to protect his goal and keep it at 1-1.
Yeah, moved the ball well enough there. Did Sutton. As it comes over, it ends up at the feet of Simper. It's a lovely play from Naderson, cuts it back. Jones sees Simper in the middle, couldn't quite sort his feet out. Manages to bypass the keeper, but there's 3 players already recovered on the line. And again, Farnham resolute in the defending.
There's Naderson, who played a big part in that chance there, but he's lost it on this occasion to Jackson. Kinan helps it over to Dean. Dean trying to pick out a pass to Bobby Joe Taylor, couldn't quite complete it. Sutton back in possession again. Simper. Hooked on by the influential Phipps to Ogbonna. Phipps again.
See the sideline shout, go wider. Because every time Ogbonna gets it, he comes inside. It's a great turn.
And the deflection could have taken it into the goal. As it actually transpires, it goes out for the corner, but that could have looped anywhere.
Lovely turn there, Jaden Harris just getting in the box where you can't be touched. Knowing what he's going to do. Lovely swivel, gets his shot away. It's the kind of thing they need to do more, secure it in the box. Interestingly, they've got their goal from a corner. Can they do the same?
Farnham's marking will have to be a great deal better than it was on the previous delivery. Jones very deliberately placing it down. Harris, Tizard, Pruti all waiting. They've gone a bit deeper with it, but Phipps did win it again. He was the scorer of the equaliser. But here they come on the counter maybe, and Dean's got the legs and he's got the ball as well. Oh, he tried to pick out Sanders and he very nearly did. There are 2 or 3 players on the floor, and in the end Sutton have a free kick, but that was a great counter-attack.
It was really good. There's actually a sense of excitement every time they break Farnham, because you know they're willing to run. They know their jobs. They know to get in behind as quick as possible. And it's not quite worked once or twice, but you can clearly see what they're trying to do.
It's a very deliberate tactic from Farnham to move the ball swiftly and turn defence into attack in seconds. Maybe there was probably an acceptance that they would be out of possession for long periods, so it was clearly a genuine game plan from them to move the ball as swiftly as possible through the central areas of the pitch.
I think by the way they're set up in the 4-2-2-2 formation.
Is that offside? No, it's not.
You can see they're not prepared to let anything through the middle.
It's a good first-time ball, which Bobby Joe Taylor will get to. 3 inside of him, but he can't get beyond the first of the defenders in front of him. And Pruti wins it back for Sutton. Capacity here is around about 2,300. It's pretty much at capacity today. They got their record gate receipts a few weeks ago when Peter Crouch had, as a forfeit, become the team's mascot for the day, and it generated massive interest. And, you can imagine he was very much the focus of attention. But today, it looks as though they've exceeded the crowd that day, and they'll probably exceed the gate receipts as well. Throw in some TV revenue. It is a total sellout. You couldn't get a ticket in the end. So it is the biggest crowd on the biggest game in the club's history.
I think they're really comfortable, Farnham, with that ball coming in their right back position. You know, it keeps going in there. They're not being beaten in behind. There's no gaps, and every time it comes in, they're just clearing it and quite happy to do so. not complicating it at all.
30th minute, Sutton dominating possession, but by no means are they finding gaps in the... Oh, it's a hefty old challenge which might earn a yellow card here. Jack Wadham has incurred the wrath of the referee. It's a yellow.
Just waiting to pounce where they can. Actually, really measured performance from Farnham so far. You know, even there, they're getting around the referee, trying to make get every advantage that they can.
There's always a fear when you're a midfielder winning a ball at that speed that the referee might take a dim view of your challenge and maybe consider a red, but it is just a yellow, which I think is probably right. I don't think he was out of control as such, which would have necessitated the red card. But it's a bit lungy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's no malice in it. He's just fully committed. And I feel that's why the referee's gone with the yellow instead of the red, because it could have been dangerous or more dangerous, but no, not a bad tackle at all, even though he's got a yellow card.
Owen Dean was on the receiving end of it. And he's up on his feet, as you can see. They've met 4 times before, Farnham and Sutton, but in the Surrey Senior Cup, so not really a guideline in any way, shape or form. It's only the second time they've ever met here, even though they're both within the same county. Dean is offside meanwhile.
I think they had the best moments, Farnham, in the opening 5 minutes. They obviously scored their goal, had a shot shortly after that as well. In terms of getting in and around the box since then, they haven't done so. But the mindset is very much sit in, be resolute, be hard to beat, and hit on the break, which is a game plan that's not doing so bad. And again, there's the ball from Sutton right into the fullback area. Sutton have got to come with something more. They've got to realise that's not working and change their approach.
This is Farnham's 15th game of the season in all competitions. They've won 9 and drawn 5 of 14 ahead of today. They do know how to get results. And they barely lost the game, actually, since Paul Johnson took over in November of 2022. 2 promotions from Step 5 to Step 3. First time they've ever been as high as they are now. First time they'd ever reached the FA Trophy first round proper a couple of weeks ago. And, of course, this is the first time they've been in the FA Cup 4th qualifying round. So everything's new. Everything is history. Each landmark they tick off. But in terms of that winning habit, and perhaps conversely the fact they don't lose very often, means that they're very comfortable even though Sutton are on top here. Great belief in what they're doing and with each other, and there it is again, that pass. They have the ball and then they go for that long ball forward and it's easy.
I mean, it would be frustrating if I was the manager. You know, I'd be saying, lads, change it up a little bit. We've got good possession at the back, but we need somebody to come inside. If you be asking Ogbonna potentially to come into the 10 position and receive the ball and get in the final third with good possession, but that would be my frustration. And you can, if this has been the theme throughout the league, they've played 15 games, won 1 of which in the National League, then teams higher up will just, it's bread and butter to them. So they've got to be have more guile.
Chris Agata only took charge on the 2nd of October. His first match was only a couple of days later. He managed to earn a 0-0 draw away at Braintree. But he's taking over another manager's team, effectively. Not much you can do in just a few days. He has switched formations already, and he tried 2 or 3 different permutations during the game against Braintree last week. So he is learning about his players, and he's probably learnt a lot in the 34 minutes so far today. But here they come in control of the ball with Jones. Put on by Wadham. Phipps, the goal scorer, on towards Simper. Comes off Kinan. There's enough momentum to take it out for Sutton's fourth corner.
This has been the most likely source of a goal for Sutton. We did see the goal scored from this side earlier on, where Harry Phipps was free in the box.
It's a similar delivery, but this time Mackenzie gets it away. Into the air from Ogbonna and gathered in by Waller in the Farnham goal, who is the Reading under-21's goalkeeping coach. That's his full-time occupation. Again, that ball over the top.
We must have seen it 10, 11, 12 times.
At least. And all the time, it's just making Farnham think, well, yeah, let them have the ball. We don't need to do anything else.
Yeah, and the longer the game goes on and Sutton don't score, Farnham get their tails up.
Here comes Jones. Different this time, a ball into the box. Bonner's foul gives a free kick to Farnham. Just from your perspective as a player, do you start to get frustrated with the fact that even though you got the ball, nothing's changing? Does that become a frustration within itself?
It does. It does. But it's twofold. You know, you're expecting either the manager to say, listen, we need to change this, but also you've got to take responsibility as a player on the pitch. If it's not going your way, you've got to tweak things, you've got to change things, and you need leaders out there who can do that. And it's not just coming from the manager. So, you know, at some point, you're doing something for half an hour, it's not working, and you clearly see they're just shutting the door every time. Your own football IQ, your football intelligence should be a case of, like, let's change and do something different. Change your wingers, you know, do something slightly different.
Talking of wingers, here's Owen Dean, who set up the opening goal and almost scored a second one himself. Has support from Jack Dean. The second corner, actually, I think it's the first actually of the game for Farnham. It is the first corner of the match for Farnham Town. What have they got in terms of set-piece delivery?
Nice passage of play down the far side there, and he has been, you know, both Jack Dean and Owen Dean down that side have been willing.
Obviously been working on something. Gone short, and then the change of angle, but Zaya gathers it in well.
I think it was actually their second corner. The first corner, they came to feet and tried a little movement. So, again, something they've worked on. Went short again, brought the ball in from a different angle.
You've got two sets of players who don't really know each other, who haven't met before. You spend the first 15, 20 minutes trying to work each other out. Now I think Farnham are probably thinking, OK, we've seen what you've got, we've seen what you're trying to hurt us with, and we're quite content with what you're trying.
Very much so.
Here comes that incisive ball to Owen Dean again. Didn't quite come off this time.
Nice.
Good touch from Bonner. Phipps with the ball forward, and this is a little different in the development, but Simper is tackled by Dean.
I think that starts from Ogbonna coming to feet, flicking around the corner. Jack Dean following him in, and then all of a sudden it creates a space.
Just something a little different. Here's Tizard.
See at the bottom of your screen there, number 10 from Farnham, Darryl Sanders, just walking back into position to say, it's okay, don't press, don't exert energy you don't need to. There's a long way to go.
It's Harris, sorry.
Sorry, now I feel that's where Farnham are being quite clever, because they know from a fitness perspective they're most likely to blow up later on in the game.
There's Naderson, tackled though. Mackenzie, Mason. It's good football. Again, it's quick and snappy. The final pass wasn't great, but everything up to that point was. Just a little bit of a miss-hit from Liddell, who was off balance.
I feel when they're moving the ball in the middle of the park, they're just waiting for the one person who's free to be able to put it in behind to the willing runners. Didn't quite get it there, but you can see what they're doing.
It is odd. It's had a lot of the ball, the Sutton centre-back. Taylor.
Good closing down. Bobby Joe Taylor just shuffling across, making sure they can't penetrate.
It's better. Now Phipps has got it. Although it was a good tackle from Mackenzie. Up towards Dean quickly, who was available, and there is support there from Bobby Joe Taylor. Now Sanders and now Taylor, and look at Mason bombing on, but it's maybe a little bit far for him, so across again comes Liddell. Tries to find Mason, Simpers there. It's good football again from Farnham.
It's good. You just see Jack Wadham, though, didn't have the legs to get away on that occasion. You need somebody who's got the legs, but he's, again, trying to get him behind, making the right runs, working for each other.
Anderson tried to make that his, breaks for Kinnan. And it goes to Jackson, and then free kick given away, which Sutton wants to take quickly. Leggett protests, but referee says nothing doing.
Again, no malice, right decision, but no malice.
Leggett's booked. First player for Farnham to be cautioned. Player who owns his own computer software company. There's definitely a bug in the system there. Here's Phipps. Taylor. That's that ball again. Everybody knew it was coming.
It's frustrating watching it.
Well, you've kind of got Chris Agata's half-time team talk ready-made, haven't you? Is that just a matter of impatience? Is it that they look up and they think, oh, let's not keep passing, let's look for something, let's make something happen? Is it trying to force it?
It is definitely trying to force it, and sometimes when you've got somebody quick like Ogbonna, you feel that that's your out ball. So when you've nothing on, you kind of just, you know, we can be guilty of just trying to put it in behind for him to run after it. But his actual best moments have come when he's come to feet. So, again, it's where your football IQ comes into play.
Dean's throw aimed towards Liddell. Here is Jack Dean. Ball in towards Owen Dean, took it well. Oh, he was almost ready for something very special. In the end, it kind of rolled off his shin, but just up to the moment as he was connecting, you wondered, are we going to see something very special?
It's actually a lovely ball in, initially from Jack Dean. Owen Dean takes it on his chest and his eyes light up. And he thinks, I can hit this on the volley, it'll be some goal. And unfortunately for him, he doesn't quite get the connection.
I was ready. I was getting the tonsils ready for that one. It didn't quite materialise. But again, there's something about Farnham's periods of possession that seems a little bit more incisive and creative and imaginative, and for all the possessions Sutton have had, they've been too predictable. That's probably the word I'm looking for. And there they are, giving it away. Taylor, good play. Mackenzie joins in. On it goes to Dean. Suddenly there's 4 or 5 bodies in and around the penalty area. Dean lost it, but there were people in the middle waiting if he hadn't have lost the ball.
You're always taught to flood the box. If someone's wide, flood the box, get bodies in. And that's what they're doing. They work hard for each other, the Farnham boys.
Yes, it was who'd come back to stop Dean. Made an important challenge. Here's Simper. Can't find a way past Mackenzie, who he then fouled.
start to see bits of frustration come out in people's play. You know, he's got his head up as a midfielder and he's seen no options, so he's tried to do something in fairness to him and get through. But half of that frustration of pulling somebody back is that he's got no options when he looks ahead.
Simper probably had, well, he did have Sutton's best moment apart from their equaliser. It was off the line by Kinan, who'd gone behind Wala to get it away. There's Dean. Jack Dean and Owen Dean combining again. The brothers Dean. One back by Phipps, though. And are they out of position? Well, they might have been, but the pass wasn't good enough and Naderson's run was in vain.
If you're the Farnham defenders, you just all go and stand on that right-hand side. You know it's coming that way every time.
We're in the first of 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. You would not know there were 2 divisions difference between Farnham Town and Sutton. Of course, in the scoreline, there is no difference. 2 big chances for each team, 1 converted. 1 cleared off the line from a Sutton perspective and 1 well saved by Isaiah to deny Dean earlier in the piece. Might there be 1 more opportunity as Taylor's on the ball. Can't find a way past Tizard. Given away though to Mason. Wanted a 1-2 with Sanders, it didn't come off. There's Simper. It's good play from both Mason and as well from Liddell. Came back and got themselves behind the ball. Jones looking towards Harris. Has support from Jones. Mason gets a foot in. 30 seconds away from a very, very good first half, Farnham Town. Got to make sure Ogbonna doesn't do anything there, which he can't. Well, to the ball. What are your general observations of the first half as it concludes?
I feel that if you're Farnham, you'd be really happy with the way it's gone. I do. I think in terms of possession of the ball, they've not had the most of it, but they've used the ball well when they've had it. They've been resolute in defending, and from a Sutton perspective, they need to go back to the drawing board and bring something more creative in the final third.
Well, it was Sanders who you saw there who got this cup tie, set it alight within a couple of minutes, but an equaliser from Phipps from a corner. There were 2 other good chances in the game, 1 cleared off the line, the other a good save from Isaiah. But at half-time in this 4th qualifying round of the FA Cup, there is nothing to split these 2 teams. It's Farnham Town 1, Sutton United 1. Well, let's have a look back at the eventful first half that we've enjoyed here. And it's been exactly the cup tie we would want, with very little to choose between the 2 sides. And what a start it was, and Sanders finishing well after some brilliant work from Owen Dean. 1-0 up in 2 minutes.
Lovely finish, it really was. Sorts his feet out, gets a little bit of fortune, but again sorts his feet out there and just passes it calmly into the net. Daryl Sanders, and a minute or 2 in, it's a great start.
And they almost made it 2. Owen Sanders, who set up the first goal, denied by a really good save by David Isaiah.
It's actually a lovely first touch. He takes it into his path, knocks it out of his feet. And Isaiah's equal to it, but he's protesting to his defenders.
And talking of protesting to defenders, there'll be a lot of protesting between the Farnham back line. How did Phipps manage unchallenged to equalise?
Yeah, he just, Leggett doesn't pick him up at all. And the moment he's got the run on him, he's always going to score.
Well, this could have been a sensational moment, but it wasn't. It was nearly a nearly moment for Owen Sanders.
It's a lovely ball, lovely touch. And then Owen Dean just drills it, but doesn't quite get the connection. Lovely touch. That's the moment in your head. The highlights are yours.
Absolutely. So 1-1 here at half-time. Plenty of other ties taking place in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round, games up and down the country. Just having a look at some of those that catch the eye. Averley against Gateshead, the longest trip really. National League Gateshead, a 575-mile round trip to Essex to take on 7th tier Averley. National League side South Dorking hoping to make club history by reaching the first round. They are at home to Aldershot. Gainsborough Trinity up against Hartlepool United. Gainsborough Trinity reached the second round proper last season when they faced Harrogate in front of the BBC cameras. They're on cup trail again. Macclesfield Stamford, since reforming in 2020, Macclesfield have yet to reach the first round, but they can put that right at home to 7th tier Stamford. Malden and Tiptree v Flatwell Heath, a step 4 club guaranteed to be in the first round. Malden and Tiptree facing Buckinghamshire side Flatwell Heath, looking to reach the second round once again as they did in 2019. Runcorn Linnets against Buxton, the other remaining 8th-tier side are Runcorn Linnets, who saw a win at Pickering in the second qualifying round. Today they have a two-division gap to bridge when they welcome National League side North Buxton to Cheshire. South Shields against Spalding. Spalding haven't played at this stage since 2004 when they lost 6-0 at Thurrock. The Tulips facing a tall order again as they travel to National League North leaders South Shields. Wealdstone against Whitstable Town, the sole surviving team from Step 5. Our FA Vase holders Whitstable Town. Their cup campaign began back on the 2nd of August, a run that's seen them upset the likes of Dulwich Hamlet, Chichester City and Hungerford Town. Worthing v Forest Green Rovers, one tie to be played on Monday night as National League South Worthing host Robbie Savage's Forest Green Rovers. The game will be preceded by the first round draw, and be sure to check out the BBC Sport website and app for first news of that draw from 6:45 p.m.
Everything you normally play for is so big or whatever, big silver thing. You've got this tiny little pot of dust that means so much more because of everything that's gone into it.
The Ashes is still the ultimate.
You grew up just observing it, admiring it, and then daring to dream.
The butterflies are that much more pronounced. The stakes are that much higher.
Convicts versus Mother England. I guess it goes all the way back to that.
Australia would rather lose a series to any other team in the world than England.
They're properly haters.
You can't comprehend how tough it is.
It was a massive moment for the country. We're still talking about it now.
The memories that inspired me.
It's going to be in that conversation for the best Test series of all time.
Another season of ups, downs and everything in between.
Does it feel a little bit different this season?
Here we go again.
All the action.
You want to have your say.
And the reaction.
There's lots of talk on social media.
Goals dissected.
Got to do this, got to do that.
Interesting debate.
Fans connected.
Love of match of the day.
Who's going to win it?
What do you think?
They've all got a chance.
Like never before.
209 live games on 5 Live. Keep your discipline.
How about that?
Entertainment.
It's what everybody's talking about. Football on the BBC.
I went through the worst year of my life because I couldn't box. In this big house that I bought, I find myself just sat alone. I just want to show that I'm being mollied. I'm back.
He owes it to everybody around him.
I need to get back to me. That's the big thing about being a Fury. I'm fighting till our last breath.
Tommy, the good, the bad, the Fury. Press red for all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
Power isn't given. Power is taken.
I am the true King of England.
Are you with me?
Today we take victory.
Where's the victory? The whole world burns to achieve it.
King and Conqueror. Press red for all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
The Football Academy on BBC iPlayer, where young players aspire to reach the top of their game.
No one will ever be better than me.
Witness the players striking highs
Some goal up, by the way.
and tackling lows, on and off the pitch. There's exciting challenges.
All right, let's do it.
And more famous faces.
What a goal.
This is one goal you don't want to miss. The Football Academy. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
This isn't the path I thought I would take.
Welcome to the fight, MMA style.
You dice my death every time you step on the arcade.
Punching up.
My goal is to turn pro. I want to make myself one of the strongest women to come out of ballerina.
And crashing down.
I'm just riddled with self-doubt. I've put so much pressure on myself to win.
I said, Rachel, in the pocket.
Now I'm scared to lose.
Girl fight.
I'm so much more than what I've ever imagined.
Watch me.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Well, welcome back to the Memorial Ground. We've already had a fantastic first half. Fairy tale stuff, really. A goal inside 2 minutes for the underdogs, Farnham Town, scored by Daryl Sanders. They very nearly made it 2. Some excellent work by Owen Dean and Daryl Sanders for the opening goal, and it was Owen Dean himself who very nearly made it 2-0. A great save, actually, from David Isaiah in the Sutton United goal. And then Sutton started to have a little bit of possession, won a couple of corners, equalised through Harry Phipps. And although Sutton have been dominant in terms of possession and probably territorially as well, they haven't really troubled Farnham that often. One good chance for both sides as the game wore on. One cleared off the line by Kinnan for Farnham after a good effort from Simper, and a really good save from Isaiah was then followed a bit later on with a little chest and volley from Owen Dean, which he didn't quite catch truly enough. Alongside me, the former Sheffield United and Portsmouth and Salford City striker Danny Webber. I suppose in many ways Farnham Town would probably have gone in at half-time saying, well, if we'd have just defended that corner, it would have been the perfect half.
I make you absolutely spot on there, Alistair. I think if you're the manager, Paul Johnson, you know, we saw before the game he was a confident man, and he was confident in his team and what they've been doing and how they go about their business. But if you're looking at it now, after 45 minutes, you are basically saying, you've still got the legs, use it wisely. You've been very structured in the way you're defending, and I don't know how much more Sutton can throw at you that's different to what they've thrown. And then if you're in the opposite dressing room, you've 2 games in you know, Chris Agata, you're 2 games into your tenure as manager, you're still trying to work out your players. You're basically saying to them, listen, stop putting the ball over into the fullback positions, get the ball in the pockets and enjoy yourselves. Go and express, show me why you should play next week when we're back to the league games. So very different narratives in each dressing room, but you know, Farnham will be enthused. They've got the crowd behind them, and you know, it's up to them to go and cause the upset.
An upset it would be. I mentioned earlier, this is the furthest that Farnham Town have ever been in their history, 119 years of history. So each time they tick off a certain stage of a competition or a certain tier in the football pyramid, they are groundbreaking. Sutton, who were a Football League club for the first time in their history back in 2021, relegated back to the National League in 2024, find themselves struggling in the National League, but for so many years they've been the giant killers. So it really is all the ingredients of a classic cup tie, and it's beautifully poised at 1-1. Well, so far in every qualifying round, Farnham Town have scored 3 goals. Can they score 3 goals for a 4th qualifying round in a row? If they do, maybe they will be in the draw for the FA Cup first round proper on Monday. Remember, if this does end in a draw today, there are replays in place at this stage of the competition, and both these sides will be preparing for a rematch on Tuesday at Sutton.
Interesting to see if, as the game goes on, whether Farnham come out the traps a little bit more and leave holes in behind for Sutton. Looks like he's turned that ball down. He was just about to wind up and do it.
Do you think there are words ringing in his ear there, maybe?
Potentially.
Here's Phipps, who's probably the Sutton player of the match in the first half. Not just the goal, but he's certainly been moving the ball around well centrally, and probably was as frustrated as anyone as he saw passes sort of disappearing over the top of his head and off into the distance. If they're a bit more progressive and use Phipps a little more and Simper a little more centrally, they might well have more opportunities in the second period. But it's a manager who's only been in charge for about 10, 11 days, and there's only so much you can do in that time. He has been experimenting with formations and he has been making personnel changes. And of course his priority is to get them points to stave off relegation. So this is almost a free hit for him in a strange kind of way. But of course it's even more of a free hit for Farnham.
Yeah, what he has to do in terms of, you know, getting points on the board when he's back into league form is get goals. And they scored, I think, 15 goals in 15 games, but they conceded 25. You need to get goals. It goes back to how creative you can be, how ruthless you can be in and around your box.
And their joint top scorers this season are Simper and Ogbonna with 3 each, which perhaps tells its own tale. Incidentally, Farnham's top scorer, Ogo Obi, is on the bench, a potential option as this game wears on. First time smash away by Waller. Kinan wasn't sure if the keeper was coming for that, and eventually has hit it out for what might be a corner. No, Simper kept it in play, and now Waller can pick it up and maybe launch one into Sutton territory. Saw the run of Little, tried to find him. Taken down by Taylor. A bit of space which Taylor can maybe exploit here. He is creative, Bobby Joe Taylor, and he's done well there, and the ball swept in by Sanders again. Well, they scored within a couple of minutes of the start of the first half. It's a very similar story at the start of the second, and Daryl Sanders is 2/3 the way to a famous hat-trick. 2-1 Farnham.
That's really, really good play from Farnham. Don't waste the ball, but Bobby Joe Taylor here is waiting for people to get up with him because he's ahead. Then he makes his move, puts the ball into the box, and again it's that man Daryl Sanders who's on the spot, doesn't mess about, and puts the ball into the Sutton net. Superb play, very simple, but absolutely effective.
Well, he's a man who works in the gambling industry. I wonder if he's backed himself today. On target twice, 2 attempts on target from Sanders, 2 goals. And they're back in front again, Farnham Town.
It was really interesting. As they gained the ball, the first ball out to Bobby Joe Taylor, it wasn't a hoof, it was really measured. And there was a shout from the side that said, you've got plenty of time. And you could see him compose himself, Bobby Joe Taylor. He's waiting for people to get up with him, and then he makes his move with a dart. And it was a really, really well structured move.
Well, as they've made their rise up the various tiers of the non-leagues, Farnham Town, they've brought in players from higher divisions, from higher levels of the pyramid, and Bobby Joe Taylor is one of them. More than 200 appearances at National League level, and all that quality was in evidence there as he just took the ball down towards the byline, saw the possibility of picking out Sanders, and Sanders did the rest. Well, what a day already it's been. I suppose the first thing you want to do is just make sure you've put on a performance and match a team who are higher up the pyramid than you. Well, Farnham have done that. Then you've got a little bonus of trying to maybe score once or twice. Well, they've done that as well.
A little bit harsh there, I think, from the referee. It was Taylor.
Oh, and now Owen Dean suddenly won it back, and that's an important save again by Isaiah. He's looking across at his colleagues, shaking his head, and I completely understand why.
It's a replica of the first half. You get Daryl Sanders scores early on. You've got Owen Dean going through, clean on goal with an opportunity, and then thwarted by Isaiah. And Isaiah turning round, remonstrating to his defenders.
Well, if the second half is to replicate the first, Sutton will equalise in the next 2 or 3 minutes. But what an extraordinary start to the second half we've had. Careless, to say the very least. Really well played by Owen Dean. And again, it's excellent goalkeeping by Isaiah.
Owen Dean could have had the game wrapped up, but it's great that he's closing down and he's engineering a chance for himself.
I mentioned they'd scored 3 goals in each of the previous rounds of the FA Cup. This is the 4th game they've played in the competition. And on each occasion in the previous rounds, they've scored at least 3 goals. You would not back against them grabbing 3 today. Question is, how many will Sutton get in reply? Well, that's a challenge which the referee takes exception to. And there's a card coming here for Adam Liddell, and it's yellow.
It's a little bit late there, Liddell. Fully committed. Got the tails up, Farnham. Trying to close every ball down now. Got something to hold on to. I don't think they're going to sit back. His eyes light up as it's there to win. It's just slightly late.
Catches Naderson. Free kick which Simper will float in towards the targets who are up for that equalising goal from the corner in the first half. One of which was Phipps. It was Kinan that got that one away. Gathered in by Mason. Looking up towards Owen Dean. It's good defending.
Good defending, he just ran him under the ball. Didn't allow him any space. There's definitely been something said at half-time. Every time the ball's come into the left-back position with Eden Pruti, he's opened out and decided not to put the ball in behind. It's not that he can't do it, he's probably just got to mix it up a little bit.
This time he's changed it to the opposite side. Switching the play is a good move. The diagonal across the field is a much better ball.
I think from his point of view as well, once he changes his range of passing up and he gets some joy from it, it'll be, he'll feel better, he'll gain more confidence as the game's going on.
A good one from Harris. Fruity. Now Ogbonna trying to take on Dean. That's a foul. And free kick to Farnham.
You can see the dynamic change. It's not in behind every time. He's coming to feet. Ogbonna, he's getting the ball early. He's got the chance to run at the defenders.
Well, that booking for Liddell is going to be his final act, because maybe to protect him from a second yellow, he's coming off. And I guess I understand the reasoning behind it. When you're in that area of the field and there is a potential for a second yellow card, he is removed from the scene of battle. And on instead comes Sam Evans, who is their record signing. Indeed, he was the first ever player bought for a fee by Farnham Town. He will go and lead the attack. Sam Evans, who is a student and a part-time waiter. Can he serve up a goal to put Farnham into the first round proper? He's won a corner.
I will say with Paul Johnson, he's been on the front foot with his decisions, with how he sets up his team. You can see when he gets set pieces as well. There's not just put the ball in the box. The first 2 corners he's had, it'll be interesting to see what they do here.
First corner of the second half. Bobby Joe Taylor, who already has an assist today for the goal that made it 2-1. Swings it in towards the keeper. And Kinan got a touch on it. He says there was a Sutton head as well, but the referee says goal kick.
I do feel there was a hand in there somewhere. There was a late protest, but I felt there was potentially a hand in there from a Sutton defender.
Maybe that's what Kinan was expressing there. Addison helps it on. His team trail by 2-1 in a season of great calamity already. Sutton have had a really bad time of it. 1 win in 14 league games. Not won in their last 9, going back all the way to the 30th of August, looking for an equaliser here through Simper, but across comes Jackson to get it out of harm's way. Up to Evans, who took it well. Mason, well, the layoff not quite accurate enough, and Bonner's then beaten to it by Dean, and the referee says that's a foul and a free kick to Farnham.
Farnham needed that just to settle the game down for a second. They've been slightly more expansive in the second half, which is giving Sutton the chance to play in and around their box or in the mid to final third.
The crucial aspect of any cup tie is how long you stay in the lead for. And in the first half, it was only a matter of, well, probably about 2 minutes. Can they stay in the lead for a little longer? Wadham's now been taken off as Sutton make their first change, and on comes Brandon Njoku, who's very much an attack-minded player. Came from the West Ham United Academy originally, and then from Cambridge. And he comes on to replace Jack Wadham, who also was booked in the first half, so maybe there's a little bit of a theme developing here. So the 58th minute of the FA Cup 4th qualifying round. A place in the first round proper at stake, which would be the first ever for Farnham Town. And they are on the verge of creating history at the expense of the FA Cup giant killers of yesteryear, Sutton, who at the moment are on the wrong end of it. Bobby Joe Taylor's cross almost reached Evans. Njoku trying to get himself involved. Good covering from Phipps, whose equaliser put Sutton level within a couple of minutes of them falling behind in the first half.
Whole game's just a bit frantic at the moment. Needs somebody to put the foot on it, settle it down. There's a lot of endeavour. It's 100 miles an hour.
It's a nice first-time ball from Dean towards Evans. Isaiah saw that possibility and came out quickly. Sutton have the throw, do they? Well, they thought they did. It's actually now been given to Farnham. So just a reminder, this is already the furthest that Farnham Town have ever been in their history in the FA Cup. It's in front of the biggest crowd ever to watch a game in their history. They're about to make more money than they've ever made from a game in their history. And they're currently at the highest level in terms of the football pyramid that they've ever been. It is a period in their 119 years in existence that has been unparalleled. And at the moment, they're 32 minutes away from yet another huge milestone, a place in the FA Cup first round proper. It's going to be a long 32 minutes, you feel. Especially if the likes of Harris can start to express themselves, and Ogbonna the same. Great football. There's the equaliser, the substitute, Njoku. And just as in the first half, Farnham were not in front for long enough, and it is 2-2.
Yeah, really, really good play there. Made all the right decisions in the build-up. Jaden Harris, who shrugged off the challenge from McKenzie. Little return pass. Ogbonna plays the ball across, and a substitute Njoku, just all he has to do is get a touch on it. The pace is on the ball. He's across the defender and manages to bring his side level again.
It is almost like the first half, isn't it? 1-0 up Farnham, an equaliser very shortly after. 2-1 up Farnham. Sutton with an equaliser shortly after. Not enough time to sow the seeds of doubt.
That's right. I think if you're looking at the two teams now, Farnham in the first half, every time Sutton were in possession, they sat off, and now, they're open.
They are, and here comes Njoku again. Well, I don't think it was going on target once he got round the goalkeeper, but Kinan made sure that he got there anyway. There's going to be a lot more chances in this game before full time, make no mistake about it.
I feel this plays more into Sutton's hands.
Well, here comes Taylor, who created the goal that made it 2-1. He's created the goal that's made it 3-2, and Owen Dean puts them in front again. And they've got a gorgeous habit of scoring 3 goals in every FA Cup round so far. They've done it again. They're back in front, and this extraordinary tale has yet another wonderful chapter.
Well, it's no nonsense every time from Farnham. I was just going down the route of saying that I feel that it's playing to Sutton's hands, but the turn around the corner from Sam Evans, again Bobby Joe Taylor looks up, beautiful ball with the outside of his left foot, and this time Owen Dean, superb finish first time, past the on-rushing goalkeeper, and there's nothing he can do. It's superb. Farnham responding immediately and saying, over to you, Sutton.
What a game of football we're witnessing here. 3-2. He had 2 chances to score in the first half, Owen Dean. He's had one in the second half prior to this. Now he's found the back of the net. A trainee electrician. And, well, I'm feeling sorry for this guy because he's made some important saves and he's had so little protection and couldn't do anything about the 3 goals that have gone beyond him.
I feel every time the camera's gone to him, he's looked frustrated. Whether the ball's in the back of his net or he's made a save and he feels exposed. He's like, boys, come on, help me here.
Listen, there's a reason why Sutton are struggling at the wrong end of the National League with 1 win and 8 defeats. There's a reason why they've just changed the manager. And we've seen it all in evidence in 62 minutes here. And equally so, there's a reason why Farnham have been eating up every opponent and going up the divisions. And there's going to be no hat-trick today for Daryl Sanders, but my goodness, he's played his part. His side 3-2 up, and he's going to watch the last half an hour or so along with 2,000 others, and this is a substitution that probably everyone in the ground was waiting to see. Harry Cooksley, who is something like, I suppose we'll call him a celebrity, because having come second in Love Island, that probably puts him into that realm these days. Certainly the amount of media interest in the club has been explosive since he came from Love Island and back into Farnham Town. But let's remember, he's a footballer as well, and his first involvement is to find Evans almost, and well, it very nearly broke for another opportunity to make it 4-2. And well, the Sutton defence looks anything but watertight. Cooksley's involvement almost immediate.
You can see Farnham have got a spring in their step. They're onto every ball. They're really, really at it at the moment.
Cooksley there trying to win a free kick. And here's Owen Dean, whose goal separates the team. Cooksley's ball out was sensible. Couldn't quite find Evans, but wow, there's just everything that suggests that Farnham are more likely to get the game's 6th goal than Sutton.
It's interesting because in the first half, they sat off Sutton, and Sutton had a lot of the ball in possession, and they wasted it. And I felt that if Farnham pushed up like they have done now and left gaps in behind, that Sutton might pick them off, but they've not been able to do so. Still looking for that long ball, regardless of time or options. They're just trying to put it in behind. They've got to get the ball down and have the courage to play.
Of all the things that a team have to do who are low on confidence, it's to start be creative and imaginative and maybe try things that you might describe as being a gamble.
Well, I think the simple things safe, well,
don't you?
Yeah, the simple things well is what gets you, rising up. And Farnham have done that really, really well. They've never really looked threatened in and around their box. They've defended solid and run for each other, spoken. The basics of the game they've done very well.
Farnham Town 3, Sutton United 2. They've led 3 times now, Farnham. The previous two occasions, Sutton have found an equaliser within a matter of moments. If Farnham can stay in the lead for a bit longer, the seeds of doubt will start to become seeds of despair. That's not a bad ball in though, and it just gets cleared in the nick of time by Jackson. We know that Farnham are going to have to defend. We know that Sutton will have opportunities. Now they're getting cheered for winning goal kicks, and rightly so.
Does well there in the corner there, Brandon Mason. This is the chance. Jackson bounces up, hits his arm a little bit, but there's no claims, and he just gets it away as best he can.
A reminder, there's no VAR, so don't worry about it. That moment's come and gone. Marlow thumping it long up towards Evans, who's not been on long but has already played a part.
I feel like if you're a defender and Evans has just come on, you'd be frustrated. You think, right, give me a break. Give me a break. But he's a proper centre forward. He's getting his body in, he's holding up. He had a beautiful touch sort of 5-10 minutes ago to bring other people into play. He's really playing on the shoulder of the defenders. He's changed the dynamics.
As indeed is Cooksley since he came on. He just laid that ball out towards Jack Dean. Phipps tries to lay it off. This one's gone astray.
Not been very comfortable, Sutton. When they're being pressed and harassed, they look nice on the ball in the defensive third in the first half, but every time they're closed down, it's like they lack options and they panic. Again, you made reference to it before about where they are in the table. It's something that Chris Agata's really going to have to get to grips with over the coming weeks to change their fortunes. Luckily enough, they're early in the season where they can in the league, but things need to change.
You don't get jobs normally in football unless there's a problem with the previous situation. So I'm sure Chris Agata's gone into this job with his eyes wide open.
It's like you're looking for the character. Who's the character on the pitch? Who's going to make something happen?
Well, Simper's trying to, and so too is Harris. And this was the side from which they got their equaliser in the second half. Claims of a handball. Bonner keeps it alive. The cross picked off by Mackenzie. And he's looking for that ball forward towards Evans, and Evans has taken it, and he's onside. There's no shot at the end of it, but that was a really good out ball, and Evans did really well for his team.
Really well, really well, and it's Mackenzie who sees the run, but the run has to be made first, and he runs off the ball, gives Mackenzie the option, obviously manages to stay onside, so the timing of the run was good. He just doesn't manage to sort his feet out in the final bit, and he walks away in frustration and claps his hands together, but it's a good movement and exactly what you need when your team is slightly under the cosh.
They're 2 divisions above, remember, so they should have a fitness issue in their favour as we get towards this part of the match. Training full-time every day of the week, as opposed to Farnham, who only train on a Wednesday night and all have careers outside of football. So you would think the last 20 minutes will be the toughest, which is probably why you'll see more substitutes. Cooksley and Evans have already come on. Chances are Paul Johnson will bring others on. Cooksley just took a blow to his ankle. Now it's a goal kick. In fact, the referee's given a free kick to Farnham.
Cooksley not happy there. He feels he was caught late on.
Oh, no, he has given the goal kick. I wondered if he'd given the free kick, but no, he hadn't. Yeah, took a big whack on the ankle, Cooksley. I asked his boss, Paul Johnson, whether or not it had changed him, and he said, well, let's put it this way, his career's now an influencer. There's 20 minutes to go here, and you're watching a genuine FA Cup shock. It might not reverberate around footballing circles as much as Sutton's famous wins against Coventry City and Leeds United, but make no mistake about it, this is a genuine shock, because Farnham Town, you only have to go back 3 or 4 years. They used to have crowds of about 320. There were 3 tiers below, and as recently as 2021 there were 6 tiers in the footballing pyramid between Farnham Town and Sutton United. They've been closing the gap steadily, but this is genuine part-timers against full-timers. At the moment, it is going the way of the team 30 places below in the footballing pyramid. There's still a long way to go in this game. Here's Phipps. You would imagine the last 20 minutes might just resemble a siege, with the occasional counter-attack from Farnham.
You look, Farnham have retreated, gone back in, sitting in. Managers probably said, or one of the senior players just said, just sit in for a minute, get your breath back, get everything back to, get your basics right, and then we can go again.
Well, in the first half, Farnham were guilty of not defending a corner. Jones will hope to inflict similar damage here.
I think your organisation is key as a defender in this situation.
And there's a glance on which is headed off the line. It was Mason who headed it away off the line, just as Taylor was celebrating in a third equaliser.
Really, really important positioning. It's a good header from Taylor.
It's not over yet. Good block this time to prevent the goalkeeper having to make a save. Look at that for expending energy from the left-back Brandon Mason. Almost came off for him as well. Can't underestimate that.
No, you can't at all. He does ever so well. I think if there's another 5 yards, he gets it.
Now Evans combining, and I think Taylor was going for something very special. Owen Dean was waiting for a cross, and all he gets is an apology.
I think Taylor saying, I've set you guys up now, it's my turn. But it's off the corner there, it's a really good chance. Super header from Taylor, just comes off his man. Great header, but it's Mason alert to it, getting rid of the danger.
Well, they have cleared the ball off the line a couple of times, Farnham Town. But that's all part of the FA Cup recipe if you want to create some giant killing history.
I think Ogbonna's hurt himself when he's tracked back. You know, he had to be at full speed to make sure that Brandon Mason didn't get caught in it. And is it cramp?
Well, he's probably been their liveliest player, actually, Ogbonna at the other end. But you're right, once Mason had set off down that left side, someone had to go with him. And Ogbonna, well, he belted it back to get there. I suppose you've got a feel for Chris Agata. He's not been in charge very long. He's taken over a team in free fall, a team very low on confidence, with probably a lack of belief in themselves, and up against a team who may be 2 divisions below but are full of confidence and self-belief.
It's good because it gives you an opportunity to make a difference. Definitely. And that's Ogbonna coming off.
Yeah, it's a shame. And Noah Boutin comes on. Player on loan from Bournemouth, who has largely been used as a starter during his time at Sutton, but today he's on in place of probably the cramping Ogbonna.
He's put a shift in.
He has.
Got himself an assist.
He's going to play no further part today. 22-year-old Bournemouth loanee will come on. And you'd like to think that someone of his pedigree could make a difference for the full-time side.
The thing is, when you're here on loan, You know, this is your opportunity. You're here for a reason, whether it's to make an impact on the team, to get more minutes. You know, there's a narrative there for him to go and have an impact.
He can certainly make a name for himself here. Live on television. Pictures broadcast all over. Your team trailing 3-2. But at the moment, it's the fairy tale that we're watching unravelling in front of us. Farnham Town, never before in the third qualifying round, never before in the fourth qualifying round. Well, now they're on the verge of reaching the FA Cup first round proper for the first time in their history. And they've only got 14 minutes to negotiate to do it. And Sutton, who've gone into FA Cup folklore for all the right reasons, with some famous scalps to their name, are in danger of becoming a slain giant themselves. Kinan with a tackle, gets there in front of Naderson, and emerges with the ball and looks up for the right pass.
Ever so well there, Kinan. Two people on him, harassing him. He uses his body so well. It's close control, gets out and picks his pass.
At the moment, I think the only disappointment for Farnham Town is that their owner, chairman Harry Hugo, who is so much the man behind the finances that have allowed the club to develop, well, he's actually on a plane coming back from holiday and isn't here to witness this. Depends on the Wi-Fi on the plane as to whether or not he can watch it. Oh, that's a lovely touch from Evans, just too much on it. I love the way Brandon Mason's up and down that left side.
Really is putting in the mileage in a positive way for his team. And I feel that Sam Evans has made a difference since he's come on as well. He's been a focal point, he's bringing people into play. Slightly overhits the touch on that one, but if he gets it right, Mason's in.
You're watching the minutes being ticked by. Less than 13 to play now. Farnham Town 3, Sutton United 2. The kind of chapter in recent Farnham Town history that would have gone under the category of fanciful. I'm sure it's the first time you've seen them other than little clips and so on. You understand why Farnham have not lost a football match this season.
For sure. And there's no secret to getting the fact they've won so many games over the last couple of years, but the hard work that's been put in behind the scenes, it's evident that there's a buy-in from the starters, there's a buy-in from the players who come off the bench, so there's clearly a good camaraderie there, and that's built from the manager. You know, when pre-season comes and there's often a turnover of players, which characters you're bringing into your team, do they fit your ethos? You know, and you know, clearly he's improving that every season, so you've got to give huge credit to Paul Johnson and his team just to have them playing this well drilled and winning football matches. And he was confident before the game, so you know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he was confident. Sometimes managers aren't quite as confident as he was when they're talking about giant killing, but he just had that belief in his players and the formula that he's come up with for them. Zaya comes out and makes a timely intervention in front of Evans, but they win the ball back again, such is their appetite. Now Owen Dean, whose goal might well be the one that wins this cup tie. Cooksley.
That's a prime example there on the turnover. He runs after the ball, doesn't get it, the keeper comes out, but then immediately his reaction, Sam Evans, is to go and win the ball back and keep possession for his team. And that's someone who's come off the bench who could have easily not had the right attitude, but he's out there making an impact.
Tom Leggett working hard there. Bit of a delay for a substitution. I guess as the game wears on, it's important to keep everything fresh. Ogo Obi The club's top scorer was at some stage an inevitable player to bring on. The circumstances might well have been that his side were trailing and they needed a goal. Well, now it's to replace the man whose goal at the moment is sending his team through, Owen Dean.
He can be pleased with his day's work. He really can, Owen Dean. He's had some chances. Got a goal that could potentially win it.
Sutton too are trying to keep things fresh and dynamic as well, and they've turned to Mo Dabre. Taken off Tizard, that would be a change of formation, I imagine. Got to try anything. They need a goal in 10 minutes, Sutton. Obi, well, that was really good. Game management's been good, actually, from Farnham Town in the last few minutes.
It has. You can see them slowing it up, can't you? Whenever the ball goes out of play, they're passing it on to somebody else, taking the time.
There's a real game understanding. Oh, it's lovely from Cooksley. And Obi, and has he won a corner? You bet he has. A fourth goal, and well, it might be time to dream, if it isn't already.
There's a swagger about the Farnham players where they know what they're doing, they're comfortable, you know. And it's rare you see so many people come off the bench and are tuned into the game, regardless of whether it's FA Cup or not. You normally see a slight dip in performance, but...
Oh, that was good delivery. Well, in the end, it was kind of drifted out by Jackson. Dean got close to getting a touch on it. Wicked ball in. And very nearly yielded a fourth goal.
Yeah, it's a really strong delivery. A few of the boys at the back post trying to get on the end of it. Joe Jackson.
I spoke to one or two people within Farnham Town's makeup ahead of the game, and there was a feeling that a draw and a replay would be a fantastic afternoon. Well, unless Sutton score twice, at the very least they're going to get a replay. They have, though, given a free kick away in a dangerous part of the pitch.
See Mackenzie there just getting cramp, stretching off his calves. This is where the fitness might tell. He's tracking back, he's not running freely. His calves just tighten up on him.
Joku did well as well. Now, Harris wants this, Simper wants it. Just the kind of opportunity that you work on when you're a full-time professional side. Free kicks from this very position.
I feel it has to be a left footer into the top left-hand corner if you're going to shoot at all. Keeper's not the biggest.
Just confirmation of Mackenzie's yellow card, by the way. So here we go. Could this be a key moment in the tie? 3-2 down. The team from 2 tiers up desperately need an equaliser to avoid some cup embarrassment. It's going to be Simper to hit it with a left foot, as Danny was alluding to. There was enough cover to make sure that it didn't happen, and at the end of all of that, Farnham have a bit of a respite.
They just tried to change the angle of approach. It's Jaden Harris, little rollback, doesn't catch the strike very well, but the defenders are there. It's Mackenzie, lay on the ground, putting his body on his line for his team, making sure it doesn't go through to potentially trouble the goalkeeper.
6 minutes and counting before history is made once again by this fairy tale club. I get the feeling that at the very worst they've got themselves a replay at Sutton, but they want more than that, but they might have to settle for that. But that's a good save by Wala, who denies Naderson. Goes out for a corner.
Does well there, the goalkeeper, Wala. It's actually a really good first touch from Naderson, just to keep his momentum, so he gets the strike away. This is where the danger is, Sutton.
Or indeed. The Delivery isn't good this time, and Cooksley clobbers it away. Still plenty forward, of course. Taylor kept it alive, and then Harris did the same, and it's another corner. And we imagine the die is now cast for the remaining few minutes of this game. Sutton siege, Farnham defending. 3-2 lead intact for the moment, but for how much longer? Jones to whip it in right-footed. Headed away again by Cooksley. And then Simper going for something that he hoped would have gone into the annals of FA Cup folklore. In the end, it almost ends up in the stand behind the goal.
It falls out on the edge of the box there. Simper's thinking, it's my chance, you know. And you see FA Cup goals every year where it's a moment of magic or a moment of individual brilliance. But on that occasion, not quite.
Another precious minute ticks by. Another second closer to a quite remarkable moment in this transformative club's history. It's funny, I was talking to Paul Johnson, the Farnham manager, before the game, and he told me that he was never interested in the cup competitions. All I'm interested in is going up the divisions and going higher in the pyramid and promotions. Despite that, he's won 3 cups, and he's about to guide his team into the FA Cup first round proper. So it just shows you the consistency that his team keeps serving up, whether it be league or cup.
It's a byproduct of when you get a mentality in a team that want to win football matches.
Absolutely. And equally so, that become hard to beat.
Definitely.
There are 3 minutes to go, though. Probably another 3 or 4 added. Is that not a foul? The referee says play on, as Debray kept hold of it. Well, no, he did give the free kick in the end. Bhutan takes it. Now Simper. Helped on by Debray towards Njoku. That wasn't a foul. Cleared by Mason. Up towards Obi. It's the job of Obi and Evans to try and keep hold of the ball when their back line clears it. Here's Jones. Now Simper. And it goes to Pruti. Into Buta. Pruti. Harris.
Farnham just staying in there, trying to close the gaps where they can, making it difficult.
And then the clearance up towards Obi. That's a bit too forceful, the push, I think. Well, they're going to enjoy the experience of the competition for one stage longer, provided they can see out the remaining 90 seconds, plus, let's say, 4 or 5 have added. Here's Bhutan, though, for Sutton.
Lovely pass.
That's a beautiful ball from Phipps. What about the cross in the area? No, it's too close to Wala. Cheered as if it was another goal.
He put it down by a bit of time. Downfield.
Swirling kick. Away by Jack Dean. Up towards Cooksley. Try to thread it through to Obi. It was a good idea. Away by Phipps. Now Simper. Time running out for Sutton. Here's Buta. Always seem to be a Farnham Town player where they need one. Jack Dean working hard.
I feel he's been solid down there, Jack Dean, all afternoon.
Yeah, right on cue, but he lost his footing. Here's Harris, though. Again, there's a Farnham Town body in the way, and Cooksley sensibly just launches it into Sutton territory. Don't forget the part David Azaya in the Sutton goal has played in keeping his team even in with a sniff of staying in the FA Cup. 6 added minutes. Well, I'm not surprised Jack Dean has stayed down. He's just never stopped working down that right side. You can see he's heavily strapped anyway.
Yeah. That feeling, it's not a nice feeling, but it is if you get the rewards at the end of it. His arms in the air saying, help me out.
And he's just celebrated signing a new contract to keep him at the club for another 2 years. And what a way to celebrate that moment. If he can be a part of, well, it is the biggest game in Farnham Town's history. Unfortunately, he's not going to see it out, which is a shame. One of many heroes for Farnham today.
He has been good. Again, though, part of this, just take it, take the minutes, eat the minutes up. I know the ref will add some on probably at the end of this, but slow the game down. There was pressure starting to mount on their box. Can be proud of his day's work there.
Absolutely
Jack
right.
Dean.
Here comes that substitution, obviously taking as long as they possibly can over it. And, it makes sense. Stepney it is who's come on, Jordan Stepney. Another electrician by trade. Don't forget, this is a part-time club with part-time players with careers outside of football. Just to highlight the achievement of what we're witnessing in front of us here. But it is not over yet. Cooksley, though, intervenes for Farnham. Not a bad ball towards Obi, and it's cleared for a corner by Phipps. And, well, one imagines this time there won't be a ball into the box.
For sure they'll take the time, but it's good play there from Cooksley. Just reads where the pass is going inside, drives at the defence and tries to slip Obi in. But you need that. They're the boys who've come on, who've got the legs.
Obi and Cooksley just keeping it down in the corner, but not for very long. Just about got that one away, didn't he, Pruti? Look how hard they're working. Farnham committing bodies forward and into Sutton territory. Now they're all funneling back. That's a good ball out to Buta. And Stepney's challenge is deemed fair.
Don't see a problem with that. Bhutan just knocked it and run into him effectively. He's got to try and evade him. Use his pace.
They're almost there, Farnham Town. Well, their efforts can't be faulted, their attitude can't be faulted. Have they got the quality in the remaining moments to find a third equaliser? Here's Harris. Teasing cross. Again, there's a Farnham body there. Mackenzie, who's running on fumes, got into it. Cooksley trying to find Obi. Isaiah did well. Here's Taylor. 2 of the added minutes remain. Farnham ever so close to a moment of genuine history. Harris. Just stopped by Jackson. Harris again. Cooksley's there.
Does well there. Just getting back and helping his team. Cooksley.
Can they defend the cross? Just about. Waller gets there. It was a header across the face of his goal, but always favouring him. 90 seconds or so.
It is a good header back across. Nobody running through the centre of the goal, and Waller happy he could just get his hand to it.
Evans to take it to the corner. It's a throw by the corner flag.
I think if you're going to lose it, that's where you lose it, in the bottom corner. A lot to do to get it back up the field.
Be quite a number of these Farnham Town supporters who will be rubbing their eyes and just checking the scoreboard. It's been an extraordinary journey for this club. They've come up from 3 tiers below in double quick time. And they're within a whisker of being in the FA Cup first round proper for the first time ever in 119 years of trying.
He's done that ever so well, Mackenzie, on numerous occasions where he's just blocked the ball in the box where a shot's coming in. And again, excellent. Driven out, won his team a foul at a really key moment.
And it's now about how much more the referee will add on, probably for the substitution and the cramping that occurred earlier in stoppage time. Yellow card for Simper. He said something out of turn either way. It's another few seconds off the clock for Farnham Town. On the verge of something quite remarkable. Everyone's done their roles. The substitutes who've come on have contributed. The timing of the substitutions from the manager has been good as well. It's hard to fault anything that Farnham Town have done today. Sutton have one last surge to deny them, to save themselves from becoming a giant who was slain. Cross comes in, is a dangerous one, and there is the equaliser in the final second from Harris. Well, Farnham Town looked as though they were on the verge of some history, but even though they are going to go into the FA Cup first round draw, it's going to be with the word "or" between them and Sutton United. You have to say Jaden Harris has epitomised their spirit today, Sutton. They've never given up on it, and he maybe is probably the player who's most deserves something from the game. They've denied Farnham Town with the last attack of the match.
Gutting for Farnham. You were just waiting for the ref to blow the whistle, but superb from Sutton. It's their best move of the match. They've played it down the side, draws the defender in. Superb play there, and then he gets his head up, and Harris on the spot to put it into the back of the net. Superb for Sutton, but gutting for Farnham, who almost had it wrapped up, especially when there was 6 minutes that have gone up. It's 90+8. They'll feel really, really disappointed.
3 times they've led, 3 times Sutton have found an equaliser. And no wonder there's a smile on Chris Agata's face, because whatever else he's learned about his team today, he has certainly learnt that they've got spirit and character. They've not felt sorry for themselves. They've gone behind 3 times, and 3 times they've found a way back.
I think a mention for Njoku as well. He's come off the bench, he's scored 1, he's assisted 1, he's on the ball again here.
Yeah, and this game still goes on. Njoku plays it forward. Farnham Town are desperate for that final whistle to go. It does. And it says everything about Farnham Town, that they're disappointed that they're going to go into the FA Cup first round proper, but only with a replay still to negotiate. Up until the 8th minute of added time, Farnham Town were on their own the FA Cup first round incumbents. But right at the death, well, real drama from start to finish. 3 times Farnham Town have led this afternoon. 3 times Sutton United have equalised. But that man Harris, in the 98th minute, has prevented the greatest of fairy tales. That said, if you'd have offered Farnham Town a draw at the start of play and a money-spinning replay, they'd have bitten your hand off. But the fact that they're disappointed in the opportunity to knock Sutton out at the second time of asking tells its own tale. This has been a game that has shown just how good Farnham Town are and why they've been unbeaten in all competitions this season. A breathtaking cup tie with a stunning end to it. It has finished Farnham Town 3, Sutton United 3. Well, alongside me watching this magnificent cup tie all afternoon, Danny Webber, I have to say, Danny, the way Farnham Town have expressed themselves today, and I know they'll feel gutted and I know they'll feel disappointed, but they've proven that they are a team who can go up the tiers and keep making progress.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, they can be really proud of 96 minutes of that game. You can see their tactics, they were resolute, they always offered a threat, they scored some good goals, created some good chances, and it was just probably tiredness at the end and a lack of concentration, a feeling of that they've won the game that allowed Sutton in right at the very end. But they can be so proud of the way they've gone about their performance today and enthused for the replay ahead.
And of course, similarly, Sutton United, yes, they're in turmoil. Yes, they've had a change of management. But what does it say about them? 3 times behind, didn't feel sorry for themselves, ended up with a 3-3 draw. Well, let's go and get some reaction to what has been a magnificent FA Cup tie.
Chris, you must have thought that one was over for you.
Yes, yeah, but credit to the players, magnificent character, great mentality, and that'll put us in good stead moving forwards for sure.
You're so new to the club, yet you've managed to get that out of them today.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's nothing that we've done. It's just they're a good group of players that maybe lacking a bit of confidence at the minute. Just need to realise how good they are, and ultimately, like when we were aggressive and on the front foot at the back end of that game, when it was pretty much all or nothing, that's when we produced our best football. So it's getting that mentality into the group in terms of if we can do that at 0-0 or 1-0 or etc., we can be a very good side.
So just a few more days now to make sure there isn't a shock.
Yeah. It's but as I said, it's for us. It's just all part of a building process that we're right at the start of. So we showed a great mentality last week against Braintree to dig out a result, and we've shown a brilliant mentality again today to find a way to make it 2 unbeaten. Farnham are a good side. Home crowd's excellent, very well organised. Probably the biggest game in their history. So we had a lot to lose today, and to be fair to the players, the Sutton players, I thought they were magnificent in terms of how they dug in and found a way.
Thank you.
Pleasure, thank you.
Well, a very proud manager, Chris Aggerty, you have to say, and he's got every reason to feel proud of his team. I know that they've come with an equaliser in the 98th minute against a club 2 divisions below them, but every reason to think his players could have felt sorry for themselves, could have looked inward and thought, oh, it's gone again, and they haven't. They've responded.
That's the biggest takeaway, I think, for Chris Aggerty, that his team kept going and going and going. And when I think all 2,300 people in the stadium thought the game was over, you know, they didn't, and they kept going. So from his point of view, he can be really enthusiastic about that.
It's a funny thing to talk about both managers feeling like they're winners, but I suppose they both will in some ways, because everything that Farnham did today was probably as the manager had sort of planned for.
It couldn't have gone any better, in fairness. You know, aside from the last minute goal, the performance was strong. You know, you're watching the players come off at the end and they look disappointed. They know they've put the work in. You know, the consolation from the families. You can see that it was a very, very clinical performance, that they will feel that they should be now in the draw on their own.
Well, they will be in that draw for the FA Cup first round on Monday evening. Let's have a look back at what was just the most brilliant game of football, really. From a neutral perspective, it was everything you want from a cup tie. The minnows finding goals, and good goals at that, and well, they led 2-1 through a very fine strike as well from Sanders' second goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, and it's Taylor, the architect, does very well, gets the ball across. Sanders just there on the spot to tuck it home nicely.
And they could have maybe opened up a 2-goal lead, but Isaiah in the Sutton United goal deserves enormous plaudits because he's made 2 or 3 vital saves today.
He will, and Owen Dean will be frustrated because he's had quite a few chances tonight. He'll relive them, but this was fantastic. Again, Jaden Harris out wide to Ogbonna, and the ball comes into Njoku, and it's a superb move. Simple, but very, very effective. And that was then just after Njoku been introduced.
The truth is that substitutes had really played their part for both teams. That was really good by Evans, and then Taylor again finding the right ball, and Owen Dean, who I suppose on another day might have had himself a hat-trick, puts in what he thinks is going to be the winning goal.
Yeah, and at that moment you couldn't argue against it. They were on the front foot, and it's a lovely finish. It is really a nice finish away from the way the goalkeeper's going, and you're thinking it's all on. And this was Sam Evans, who did make a big impact. Couldn't quite get his feet sorted there, but the rest very, very good. Running in behind, always a threat.
It was not an undeserved result if Farnham Town had won this game, but you've got to pay enormous compliments to Sutton. They kept on going, and it took a clearance off the line, a good clearance off the line to deny Taylor by Brandon Mason.
Yeah, it's great position, Mason. He's holding his attacker off whilst being able to get to the ball first.
There's 1 or 2 scary moments, as you would expect along the way. Good save from Wala to deny Naderson.
Yeah, Naderson does well, keeps his momentum going, nods it forward, gets his strike on target, and Wala was equal to it. But this here is the 97th minute. Really, really good play from Njoku, puts it across, and then Jaden Harris is there to get the equaliser and keep Sutton in the FA Cup.
And I think psychologically as well, this was huge for them. There is no doubt about it. Another defeat would have been a disaster for their new boss. So wonderful scenes here, smiles everywhere, both sets of supporters with plenty to be proud of. The reality is that we thought we were going to see something quite extraordinary today. Farnham Town nearly overcoming Sutton United, but they will both be in the FA Cup first round draw on Monday afternoon. Well, I imagine, despite the 98-minute equaliser, that Paul Johnson will still be a very proud man. Let's hear what he's got to say.
So near, yet so far. 98th minute.
Yeah, that's the FA Cup for you. Yes, yeah, full of twists and turns, and yeah, we just fell short.
You could feel the momentum, both obviously in the team and just in the ground today. How difficult is it to take that to a replay?
Yeah, it's always difficult when you're so close. You know, we've got to dust ourselves off, and we go again Tuesday. We gave a great account of ourselves. Yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, we'd sit on it, sleep on it tonight.
It's hard to remember that you are 2 divisions apart, and to take that to the replay, is it something in itself? And you were so confident. How do you feel going into that replay, what you can do?
Yeah, same again. You know, I think we can still be better. I don't think they're going to get better over the next 3 days with where they're at. So yeah, we go there confident again and see if we can cause an upset there.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Well, both proud and disappointed all in one. Paul Johnson. These two will meet again on Tuesday in a replay at Sutton. They will both also be in the FA Cup first round proper draw. And remember, the FA Cup first round proper, of course, is going to be extensively covered for you on the BBC the 1st and 2nd of November. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of cup ties as dramatic as this one. Well, thank you to Danny for his company this afternoon. We've witnessed a quite extraordinary cup tie, and those 2 teams will do it all over again in a replay on Tuesday night. From all of us here, enjoy the rest of your day.
Another season of ups, downs, and everything in between.
Does it feel a little bit different this season?
Here we go again.
All the action.
You want to have your say.
And the reaction.
There's lots of talk on social media.
Goals dissected.
Got to do this, got to do that.
Interesting debate.
Fans connected.
A lot of match of the day.
Who's going to win it?
What do you think?
They've all got a chance.
Like never before.
209 live games on 5 Live. Keep you disciplined.
How about that?
Entertainment.
It's what everybody's talking about. Football on the BBC.